I did see some talk about the overreactions, and I just pulled up some stats here. So one of the biggest overreactions from our Chiefs Kingdom on Twitter, which I love, and I think it's funny, but I think there is a little bit of truth to it, right? So Carson Wentz, we've said he's probably one of the more talented backups we've had since Andy Reid's been here, but today didn't really see much of that. And what I did was I went back to look at past performances of quarterbacks that have started the last game of the season for us. And I went to 2014. I have Chase Daniels' numbers when he started that Chargers game for us. So I'll just quickly. So Chase Daniels back in 2014. Chiefs won that game 19-7. Chase Daniels, 157 yards, passing 16 of 27, 0 picks, 0 touchdowns. And then he was sacked 4 times that game. Go back to 2020, Chad Henne against the Chargers. We lost 38-21. Chad Henne had 218 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. And then last year, Blaine Gabbert, 15 of 30, 154 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 pick. We won that game 13-12. And then today, Carson Wentz, 10 of 17, 98 yards. Didn't even get the 100-yard threshold. 0 touchdowns, 0 INTs, and sacked 4 times. I guess the thing I've seen online is, God forbid, this is kind of it's pretty much what I've seen. But God forbid Mahomes goes down in the playoffs because Carson Wentz, we can't have that performance in the playoffs. That's a wounded team that can't really do much without Patrick Mahomes if we have to go with Carson Wentz. Just based on what we saw today. Obviously, small sample size. We see what Carson Wentz has done in the past. But based on what we've seen so far in his Chiefs tenure, that performance today, are you scared if, God forbid, anything were to happen to Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, anything happened to Patrick Mahomes, I'm be scared anyway. But,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this: we can look at the past performances of those quarterbacks, all under different conditions. You had different players playing. You have a different line. You have a better line. You have better running backs. You have better wide receivers. You're throwing the ball to tight ends. That boosts everything up around Carson. So I don't want to look at it too much because we know Carson can't sling the football. We know that. And if you give anybody time, I don't care who it is. If you don't give a quarterback any time to throw the football, they're not going to do a very good job. Okay. So that would be the thing. All right. He would have a very better support group around him, capable support group around him, as opposed to having Hendershot out there, not taking anything away from him, but I mean, there was one of the 3 wide receivers they had out there was Remigio, Juju, and Watson. And that was it. That was their rotation. That's all they had. They didn't have anybody else. And so Noah Gray played sparingly. Hendershot was the other guy that was out there. And they had Carson Steele and P-Rod. And Carson still got more carries than everybody else, more than P-Rod. So And so they pulled out their first line after the first series. I think they only went 1 or 2 series, and that was it.
If you guys don't have Underdog yet, click the link in the description, and all you got to do is deposit. I have $1 here. That's another typo. I need to fix my typos, guys. $10. Must at least deposit $10 for first-time users, and you get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And these are the picks that we like for the week. We kind of just talked about it. Jaleel McClellan, 3 out of 4 games he's hit this number. Teja said 7 of the last 8 games, Bo Nix has exceeded 2 touchdowns passing, Teja.
Yep.
Marvin Mims, over 3.5 receiving yards, done that 5 of the last 6 games. And Cortland Sutton, he needs 82 receiving yards this week for his $500,000 incentive. And so, yeah, those are picks. Those are picks for the Underdog entry this week.
So I guess, does that answer your question? I mean,
yeah. Yeah, no, it does. And I think you're right. The same sentiment should be for everybody. If Patrick Mahomes goes down, right, and I think a lot of people just point to the Chad Henne drive in that Cleveland game where he came in and kind of gave us, what we needed when Patrick was down. Can Carson Wentz do that for a drive? I think people are just scared because if this is what we saw for Carson Wentz today, can he materialize in the playoffs? And I will say Carson Wentz, he's been a more successful quarterback in his career than Chad Henne or Blaine Gabbert or Chase Daniel ever was. So
that was my question to you. I was going to say, if you all those guys, who would you prefer? Who has a better record and whatnot, completion percentage, all those different things as far as body of work from all those quarterbacks?
Yeah, Carson Wentz. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And in a playoff game, he's not playing with the quarter 4 guys of a preseason game. He's gonna be playing with the starters. So. Teja, any thoughts to some of the overreactions from Chiefs?
I wouldn't. I mean, it's not fair to judge Carson Wentz's ability to come in for a drive in the playoffs based on this game. That's not same way I would say if Mahomes was playing with our backup receivers, backup running backs, backup O-line, that wouldn't be fair to judge him on it either, right?
Right.
Mahomes' first game, granted as a rookie, played with a lot of backups, and he won, but he didn't even score a touchdown in that game. So I wasn't going to judge the rest of his career based on that, just like I'm not going to judge Carson Wentz's playoff potential based on that. He'd look a lot different with a much different game plan and less vanilla, more on the line. I don't think, Carson Wentz is going to risk getting injured to try to die for a first down in this game. We need him for much more important. Because think about it, like with our past with Henne, for instance, coming in at such a really important drive to really save our season in the past, it gives you that much more importance for a guy like Wentz to not get injured in this game. That's why you see a lot of teams pulling like their backups too, their second string quarterback, because if that guy has to come in, he's your guy, right? Look at backups that have taken their teams to the Super Bowl that season, right? I mean, Tom Brady was a backup that season that he came in for Bledsoe. He was their Wentz that year, right? Foles was their Wentz that year that he came in.
Yes.
And eventually got rid of Wentz because of that.
Because of
So, like, you just don't know anymore what can happen. So yeah, I'm not gonna judge Wentz off this. It's not fair.
And for the record, I'm not judging Wentz. I'm just saying that that was some of the comments I saw online. And obviously, we talked about it during the week. That's the reason why we saw a lot of Quan get playing time today, because they didn't want to throw Wentz the dogs in this game completely. At least they don't want. I mean, he was sacked 4 times, but they don't want to completely get him hurt before postseason play.
How did Olakine look? I didn't get to see any bit of the last part of the game.
I mean, he had some fun moments. I don't think he didn't complete a pass, but there was one play where he kind of like escaped. I think it was a 3rd down play. He escaped the pocket, like couldn't find anybody open, but he kind of like went back and forth around the field, and then I think he ran got like 3 or 4 yards or something.
He didn't attempt one either. He was 0 for 0.
Yeah, I thought that play was gonna fly someone downfield, but it was just fun, good like flag football kind of play, and then he just ran out of bounds like 3 or 4 yards.
He was honing in on his inner Casey Printers.
But yeah, cool for him. I mean, guy got pulled from the practice squad. He's been around the league a little bit to get his first snaps in a regular season NFL game. So you always gotta love that kind of stuff. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.